Yep. Are we like? I don't know what happened then. If that first stream started. Okay, just getting the live stream together and let's have a look what's happening here. Bear with me just one moment, folks. I'm just making sure everything's working. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm wearing shades. Got a real bad bloodshot eye. But I don't know how well that's going to kind of go tonight because I might need to see things. So what are we doing tonight? Yeah, I didn't know whether to do a stream or not. I was on Sonic Talk earlier on Sonic State with Matt Hodson, who goes under the name of Maths. Very good indeed, he is. And obviously Nick Batt. And the legend that is Heinbach was on for the first time, actually. He was a guest on Sonic Talk today, and he was great. It was really nice to have him on there. He's brilliant. He's such a great guy to have joining us. So that was a real pleasure. Right. I might ditch the sunglasses, but the eye is like really horrible. Okay, so what we got in front of me? Yes, so viewers of the show will know that I am delving, I should say, into the murky world of Eurorack, and I've got gigs coming up, and gigs with the mighty Steve Davis, who I am having a incredibly exciting musical kind of relationship with, really. I mean, we're good friends anyway, but the music side of it is really cool. I'm really intrigued as to where that's going to take us. Okay, just checking in with the chat room. Hey, yeah, sunglasses at night. Yeah, I might take them off. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to be potching. I'm going to be potching tonight, potching around with this live rig. So yesterday I had a session with a brilliant videographer, video artist called Mr. David Hopkinson, who's we've worked together before. He did the live visuals accompanying the Asteroid Deluxe album, The Lawn. He did an amazing job. So we're going to be doing a few things in the future. And he came over for us to try out some video content that he made. And I was performing to it using this modular rig. And that was really interesting. It was interesting. Well, it's just interesting anyway to work with him. But also, I'm making these kind of iterative improvements to my live rig, which, as I say, this is what's in front of me. And this live rig, I'm trying not to change it too much, but I've just keep having ideas to just to kind of make it a little bit easier and to make it a little bit kind of less likely to go wrong. Put in a few more. Well, I'm going to swap out some modules. That's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to probably have to pull out all of the cables as well to replug it all in. So not the most thrilling thing. But then I thought, well, this is a journey that I've wanted to share. So, you know, you're all welcome to come along with me. It's lovely to see a lot of people in the chat room, and I have a bunch of people who were watching the Sonic Talk earlier, which was a really good episode. There's all this news, music tech news going on. Some, well, mostly good, but some sad news, obviously. And again, huge loss to the community with Klaus Schultz, who sadly passed away. And, you know, when you look at Klaus's contribution and his history with electronic music, you know, he's a titan. You know, he's an absolute, he's a hugely important figure. So this is a great loss indeed. I believe he'd been ill for a while, but even so, still a big loss. And my good friend Jörg Scharf from Radical Technologies. Yeah, Jörg is what a brilliant man he is, and he told me about his experiences with Klaus, and he made, I think it's 4 albums with Klaus, and we listened to some, and it's so good, Klaus was a huge, well, just a master of texture, and it's amazing how modern the sounds he made were, given the time that some of the things that he put out. So very much an innovator, and so yes, Klaus, we salute you. Thank you for your amazing contributions, and may you rest in peace, and big love to your family and friends. Whew. Anyway, we will, moving on. Right, so I'm going to be switching out a few modules out of my rig tonight, and I thought, well, actually, I'll explain my reasonings for this, because it's, I don't know, some of you may have seen a few months ago, I did my first ever modular performance, very short performance, about 10 minutes long, at an event in Bristol, a brilliant venue called Lost Horizon, and at James Bragg event, we all play synth, which is, if you are local to Bristol, something to be aware of. I think they're going to try, I think they might be doing it monthly, or certainly bi-monthly, and it's an opportunity for anyone who wants to perform synth electronic music live in a proper venue through a proper rig and with accompanying visuals. Then there's a chance there to perform at. So it's really good. It's a highly recommend. I highly recommend it. But anyway, I was mentioning that because that was my first time playing live. I don't know how often I'm going to be playing live solo, although I can imagine probably more than. Yeah, I think I'm going to probably end up doing more of it than maybe I would expect to. But my main focus really is performing as a duo with Steve. And we're talking about doing a whole bunch of things. So I will report about that as and when we have more dates that we can share. But there is one so far on the 6th of July in the Hare and Hounds in Birmingham. And we're playing with John Biddulph as well. Right, hang on, one moment. Okay, so I'm going to say it's going to be a little bit potchy tonight. I'm going to be switching out some modules and patching and repatching things a little bit, but there will be some music hopefully as well. So let's just check that we actually do have something. And actually, I might just see if I push play. Let me just see if we can get some audio out. I don't imagine there'll be. Okay, we've got some groove going on. Okay, sorry, just a tease. Right, no, okay. So let me explain then what I'm going to do. At the moment, I've got a few different mixers going on. Well, the signal path is quite convoluted with this. And that's one of the things that I want to do. I want to kind of rationalize the signal path a little bit. And behind me, I've got my Waldorf KB37 rig, which is integral to the way I've got my work set up, which is behind me. And I've been using the KB37 as a sort of master keyboard for controlling the Moog semi-modulars, plus a few other things. And in that, there's a little module. I don't think I've shown this module before, but it's a mixer module called the Cosmix. And that mixer module, I mean, it is it does play an important part in that role, but I think I'm gonna pillage it from my live rig, because it's got 6 channels. It's got 4 mono channels and 2 stereo channels. The 4 mono channels have got pan pots, but also auxiliary sends. And there's mute switches for all 6. Now I've got 3 mute switches on here, but everything else I'm having to sort of twist and turn to to take it out of the mix. So actually having everything on mute switches is going to be a big improvement. Also, the auxiliary send side of things is also going to come in useful. Now, unfortunately, there is a module I've got coming, I think maybe later in the week. So I can't finish this particular live rig tonight because of that one module. And that's an effect module. And that is an Erica synth Pico, of which I've got quite a few Picos in here. I'll explain that in a moment. But a Pico DSP, which is sort of a digital effect. Now, I've got quite a few digital effects in here. I've got the Endorphins Milky Way up here, which is in a 1U format. Also in a 1U format, I've got the multi-effect from IntelliGel. And so that'll give me a third delay reverb source. And I've got an interesting idea that I'd like to implement for utilizing those different effects. Now, as I'm sure most of you are aware, but certainly people who watch the show, effects and like reverbs and delays can get you out of some really sticky moments, you know. Effects to the rescue. Yeah, so I'll explain a little bit about this, and then we'll do some audio examples as well. But yeah, so I'm going to be switching out the mixer. So at the moment, I've got a Dope for narrow, an A1138N narrow mixer, which is a 4-channel mono mixer here. And I've also got the IntelliGel Mix-Up, which is 2 mono channels, a stereo channel, and then an auxiliary stereo channel as well. And those are going to be replaced, as are a few of these other ones here, which are just utility modules by the Cosmics. So I'll be pulling that. But that is going to mean I'm going to have to yank out all of these cables. And yes, the elephant in the room, the cable portals. The cable portals will certainly come into play for the new patching. I do find the cable portals still really useful. Again, if you're new to the channel, then welcome, of course. But these cable portals was a little kind of invention that I had that then the great Geert Bevan of Moog Software, amongst other things, did this wonderful design. And I do believe they're still available. But really, for these things to work, they do need to be mass-produced, I think. They are just so expensive to 3D print. However, they do work really, really well. I think it's I'm really, really pleased with them. I'm probably repeating myself for many people, but they allow you just to create a kind of pathway to put your cables through. I find them really, really useful. Now, given the upheaval that I'm going to do tonight regarding switching out the mixer, that is going to involve quite a bit of repatching and some new modules. Let's have a little look at what I got. So, just before Sonic Talk today, I literally just got in. I'd gone over to see my friends at Elevator Sound in Bristol. Now, Elevator Sound is it's a blessing and a curse. It's amazing having a modular synth shop I can get to in around 5 to 10 minutes. Now that's the curse as well. They got loads of stock, and they're not necessarily the cheapest, but they are. You get a great service, and well, some of the prices are competitive, but you know, they kind of, I don't mind. I like supporting them because I think it's great having them here. I mean, Elevator Sound now have just launched the European branch as well. But I think one of the great things about Elevator Sound is the amount of stock and what stock that they've got in. And again, that's why it's the curse, you know. modular grid, the website, of which I've just paid for my second year now as a unicorn, fully paid up member. It's an essential service, an essential website, really, if you're interested in modular. But of course, you can put together new things, and then you got like 3 or 4 HP spare here. Go and have a little look on Elevator Sound. Yeah, we can plug that gap. So I bought a bunch of modules. Well, I bought 3 modules from them today. Now, these modules are pretty much utility modules. Well, maybe apart from this one. This is a 2 HP, the brand 2 HP, but also 2 HP wide. It's a low pass filter, and it's an analog filter, and it's pretty simple. We've got a frequency control, a resonance control, and then an attenuator, which is useful for especially because I plan to use it with the DivKid 8, the Instruo 8 module. And what we've got inputs for frequency, resonance, so we can be able to kind of move this filter around. Now, this filter is going to be used exclusively for this little Erica synth Pico voice. Now, I mentioned about these Pico modules, and the Pico voice that I have here, 3 HP. It's a full voice in 3 HP, and I really like it. You've got 8 different synth engines, essentially. And the parameters, you've got a tune parameter, a tune knob, parameter 1, parameter 2. Parameter 2 is pretty much always decay, and parameter 1 can be a range of things, but I just thought it would be really nice to have a dedicated filter for that. So that's the purpose of this little one. But space is of the essence with this live rig, hence the 2 HP one. Now, this is my second 2 HP module. I've only got another one, and that's the only module that I've had die on me. Some of you may have remembered when I was doing that live. I'm not entirely sure what happened. Maybe I can get it repaired, but I wasn't sure if I would go back for a 2 HP again. But I think this is a really nice sounding filter, and we will hear that filter. I'll definitely get that plugged in for us tonight. Okay. The other modules we have here, wrapped in paper, Beat Boop modules. Now, Beat Boop are there's a guy called Jack who runs Beat Boop. These actually made upstairs in Elevator Sound, and I love this. I've talked about this before, but I think it's really cool. Elevator Sound, this is a little cottage industry around Elevator Sound. This lovely case is made by Damaru, and Damaru cases are made in the basement of Elevator Sound, and Beat Boop modules made in the attic. So these are really simple little modules, passive, both are passive. I think I'm probably reaching my maximum in terms of power, so I need to make sure that I have a certain amount of passive modules, and this is just a mult, very simple mult, passive mult, and like so. Not an awful lot to see with a mult, but yeah. And that mult is going to replace another mult that's in my rack at the moment, which is from Midiverse Modular, which is great, but it's just it's a 4 HP passive mult switching out for a 2 HP passive mult. This mult will find plenty of other uses elsewhere. And also next to it is another Midiverse Modular 4 HP switch. Now, in this current setup, the switch is sending the signals either into the effects, the Milky Way effect, or they're sort of like effect bypass switches, and it's been kind of useful. But with the mixer that I'm going to put in, that's got auxiliary send, so that means that I'm not going to need that in this particular setup. And then yeah, I'm going to have to take out these modules to make to make some space for the other one. Now, the other module I've got is another one from Beep Boop, and I've not actually seen this at all yet, so this is like a, you know, like live unboxing, but it's in paper, so a live unwrapping, shall we say. Passive module, and this is ooh, what could it be? What could it be? Well, this is something that Jack had told me about that he was making, and I was very keen to get it. Oh, very nice it is indeed. It's a 2 HP passive crossfader, and it's got like a 40mm travel, and so just very simple, in A, in B, and then a mix output, and that's it. And obviously being passive, but with all that travel, that's got a really nice performance. Actually really good. I'm really pleased with that. That feels more substantial than I was expecting, but with, yeah, so that's a Beep Boop. And these are really affordable. I think this was around, what's that, around £30 or something, which I think that's going to be a real crucial part of the performance idiom of my rack. Checking in with the chat room. Sorry, chatties, you've been chatting away amongst yourselves as per usual. Lush to see everybody. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. If you're not watching this live, then watching it live at certainly YouTube is probably the place to watch it, because there's a really great community that I'm ever so blessed tune in regularly to watch my inane witterings. All right, but yeah, so that little crossfader, I think I haven't entirely decided on its use, but what I think I'm going to use it for is, there's a single mono send from the mixer, and I've got these two effects. Well, one isn't here yet, but when that arrives. So I'm thinking of doing this in reverse, putting the auxiliary send coming into the mix, and then from the in A and the in B feeding the two effects units, and then this will allow me just to kind of change which effect you go into, and at 50%, you know, being able to hit both effects at the same time. Oh, I'm quite excited about this. I think this is pretty cool. I might use it for another purpose, though. I've got some other ideas. One of them is putting in a sub oscillator for that little pico voice, and then using this as a blend between the sub oscillator and the regular voice. So yeah, decisions that will be made. Yeah, so just if you just join in, or yeah, then I wasn't entirely sure I was going to stream tonight, and then I was thinking, well, actually, I am going to be doing some repatching of my live rig, so why not? Why not do it together? What else did I get from Elevator? Oh yeah, I got some more cables, but this reminds me of something. I haven't shown off this yet, but my good friends at My Vaults, who I think are such a terrific company, they support our community with it so well. They sent me some of their lovely candy cables, but I was blessed with this really cool bag. Look, it's like a pair of jeans. It's got a jean pocket on the back there. I got a little message from them as well, and then in the pocket itself, the background is I don't know if you can see that, but it's like a funky, oh, there we go, look. It's like a funky cosmic background. So my little leads pouch is the coolest leads pouch in the world. Thank you, my vaults. Yeah. So North House. Hey, how are you doing? Nice to see you here. You're desperate to get an ornament and crime to put your finishing touches to your first little system. I've got an ornament and crime in one of my racks over here, and that's kind of waiting in the wings. I will be doing stuff on my show in the future with Ornament and Crime. Ornament and Crime is a really unique and interesting module, essentially like an open source project, I believe, but certainly, yeah, I think it's open source, and a collaboration between some other people who've created this. Yeah, it's like it sort of runs apps in a way, in a little module, and those apps are can be like pitch quantizers or like little sequencers. It's got a whole bunch of interesting things up its sleeve. I've got it in a 1U format. It was in my live. It was in here for a bit up here, and I took it out. It is good, but I think for this particular live rig, I want this to be more hands-on, and it's a bit more cerebral, I think, the Ornament and Crime. Anyway, I digress. So what am I going to do? Well, I realise I haven't actually taken out... I haven't actually taken out the Cosmics out of my other rack there, so I'll have to do that as well. But yeah, so... I'm kind of procrastinating on what I meant to do, which is pull all the cables out. Yeah. So yeah, it takes a long time to patch it all up. So, but I think if I pull some out, I think I need to pull them all out, because I've got a few. I've had some ideas for a while now about how I want it the signal to flow in a different way, and now would be the time to do it. So building up the courage to do this, because yeah, there's a lot to remember. Now the keen-eyed viewers may have spotted here we have got, making its first appearance in my live rack, the fantastic the Civilization from Yuhi. Now, this was also doing a really important, it was doing a great job in my KB37. So much so I didn't want to take it out. I was really enjoying what it was doing in there. However, I just love how performable this module is, and I couldn't resist it. I needed to put it into this one. I made a bunch of videos about this particular module on my Adventures in Eurorack series, but in a nutshell, it's a 4-in, 4-out CV sort of processor, but you can also use it like a mixer, or you can use it as like a sequencer, or a auxiliary panner thingy. It's very powerful. It does some very cool things. In this particular case, I'm using it in a couple of ways, actually. It's got pitch quantizers in there, and so I'm using it as a pitch quantizer, but it's also working in cahoots with the marbles from Mutable Instruments. Yeah, so I did, again, mentioning on Sonic Talk earlier, we were talking about the sad announcement coming from Mutable Instruments that they're coming to an end. There's going to be no new Mutable Instruments modules. It's really sad. It is really sad. Mutable Instruments is without a doubt the most the most innovative and interesting modular maker, I think. Certainly in my experience. In this particular setup, I've got three mutable instruments modules. I've got quite a few more. I've got a Platts, a Warps, and Elements. What else have I got? A Tides. Yeah, and I'd like to get all of them. Oh, these things are addictive. North House Sounds. We're going to start out at Synth Night at North House next week, and keep us posted. Yeah, so I'll just give a shout out to North House. That is a new venue and cafe and club, I guess, and recording studio, opened in Brecon, in the beautiful Brecon Beacons in South Wales. My surf band Rumbelows were asked to perform at the opening night of that new place. Really awesome place. So they're going to be doing South Walians, Brecon, new synth night, North House Studios. Yeah. Max saying, I love Dreadbox. I do. Dreadbox. I love them. Yeah. God, I wonder what they're going to be bringing out next. Oh, Superbooth soon. Ha! So yes, I'm going to make it to Superbooth for one day only. I'm going to risk it. I am going to risk it. I'm going to have to fly back after the first day and then to join the tour that I'm going on. So it's well risky. Hopefully the flights and everything is going to work with all this horrible global turmoil, you know. Oh, it's risky, but my goodness, it's the place to be. So you know what I'm like. I'm banging on about how brilliant Superbooth is. It's so brilliant. It's costing me a lot of money and effort to do this. I just want to be there. So if anyone's going to be there, it'll be great. Wagyu saying the new Abyss 2. Yes, we've seen a tiny tease of the Abyss 2. I've got the Abyss 1 to my left here. I've got that set up with my MIDI bass. I've been using that a bit lately, actually. I'll do some more with that in a future show. Yeah. Cress said, risk versus reward, do it. Yes, I like that. Yes, it's, as I say, I think with Superbooth, it just gets this thing just right of it being trade show and a festival and just this community coming together. It's a very exciting place to be, and I just love it. I just love it. But I'm going to be heading out to Berlin a bit earlier, and I've got something pretty cool going to be happening. I hopefully will be able to do something with, and I'm planning on doing some live streams from Superbooth as well, either with Sonic or on my channel. I haven't quite worked out the details just yet, but I'm sure you'll all be tuned in for the Superbooth coverage that Sonic State do an amazing job of. And I've been fortunate enough to work with them on a bunch of shows, at Superbooth as well, you know. And Nick's going to be trying out some new technology ideas for the stream, for being able to do more content. So you lucky people, there we go. For those of you who can't make it. Right. Anyway. Yeah. So Steve Asselman saying, excited for those who are excited, but I care more about DJ guitar and DJ hardware first and foremost. Yeah, but what you have to remember about Superbooth is that there is kind of stuff there for guitar heads and for DJ heads as well. There's all sorts of stuff there. It's not just like modular, although there is a lot of modular there. Anything to do with music technology is at Superbooth. And I think that's definitely one of the things that makes it really cool, I think. Right. What do I need to do? God, I'm just nervous about pulling all the cables out. I'm nervous because I've been like yesterday. I had a great session with David Hopkinson doing, like live modular to his visuals, and with this exact setup. Oh, do I was warned about modular. I know, and I knew that those warnings were kind of serious warnings, but like I had trouble sleeping last night because I was thinking about switching out this mixer. God, this is a crazy confession now, but switching out the mixer and pulling out a few other bits was giving me 8 HP extra, like a bonus 8 HP. And like, honestly, given how much I've been sort of moving things around just for every tiny little bit of space, 8 HP, especially when you can get cool things into 2 HP. 8 HP felt like a vast amount of space. All right. Okay. Well, I'll talk. I need to reach over here. Oh, I'm going to do it. Sorry, this rig. I gotta be honest, I'm breaking one of my rules here. Is that like I've been trying to say, when you get a system up and running, leave it. Don't mess with it. Don't break it down. And I'm terrible for it. And I got a beautiful system working behind me, and I've been doing some great work and a bunch of commercial jobs, and it's been awesome. And now I'm pillaging it, taking out the mixer. Yeah, I'm doing it. I wish I could afford to have duplicates. All right, this mixer, it has got an extra feature, and I'll show this now. Oh, sorry about this. Come on. Sorry. Yes, it's out. Oh, all right. Yeah, so here we are. This is from Cosmotronics, and it's called the Cosmix. All right. There it is. So we've got mute switches, fairly long throw faders, which are a lot nicer to use, fair play, than twisting. Like, I find the dope for knobs, they feel all right. They're good quality, but they take quite a bit of effort to sort of to turn them. So yeah, and then we've got tiny little switches that you might not be able to see just by my fingertip here. That determines whether the auxiliary send is pre or post. Super useful, especially with the way I'm going to use this. Pan knobs, 4 pan knobs, and then 4 auxiliary sends, and then our 2 stereo channels here. They don't have any of those, but they do have the mute switches here. Okay, then we've got a master volume control, and then there's this switchable section here, which is let's just get the name of it. It says, well, it's a drive section, and you've got like a kind of low boost and a high boost sort of distortion, sort of like a multiband distortion thing that goes across the outputs. So there's a little tiny bypass switch here. So that's that module then, and that, as I say, it's a little bit more of a comprehensive mixer really than you typically find in Eurorack. And I mean, it doesn't have much in the way of personality, but that drive section, that's kind of where there is some character. Okay, so I have copy it in VCV Rack. I haven't got into doing VCV Rack. I'm so not interested in software at the moment. I've been so into software for years, but these last few years, just not at all. I use software for my work. I use a lot of software for my work, but in a way, this stuff is for my pleasure, and I love not having a computer involved. I'm gonna look at all of this. I'm gonna have to do it, I think. Or could I get away with just unpatching just this section? Yeah, well, maybe try that then. I'll just try and switch out the mixer then. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll switch out the mixer and I'll try and keep this all wired. Otherwise, I think, I'd like to do some music tonight. So anyway, well, what I'll do is I'll switch out this for a moment just because my body's going to be in the way anyway, so you can look at me in my shades rather than my back. Okay, so I'm going to switch out these modules. Gosh, how many are going to come out? 5 modules are going to. I'm going to have to take out 5 modules here. The mult, which is going to be replaced by another 2 HP mult. I like these Midiverse modular passive modules, but they are just a bit big. I've got some other nice modules. Got some great Axis modular modules. Which I haven't shown those yet, and they're from our good friend Tonal Axis, who's making modules now, which is really exciting. I got some good ones. I've got right, okay. I don't know. Is this interesting to watch someone pull out modules? Right, this mixer, out it comes. So this is the little dope for 4-channel narrow mixer. Oof. Honestly, the brain work. The amount of brain, sort of, I don't know what you call it. Your mental cycles, brain cycles, whatever it's called. Brain, your brain resources. Modular it just eats up all of it, all available bandwidth it's going to take. But I gotta be honest. Like yesterday, when I was doing this session yesterday. I was really pleased with how it was going. I was really pleased with the quality of the music that I was making. Feels like starting to get places with it. I've been a musician for a very, very, very long time, and I've played at a good level, but this stuff is, it's like still this new, like a new thing for me. And I just want to get good. I want to get good. It's like bass guitar is my main instrument, and when I'm playing, and and I'm rehearsed up and playing with a great band, I feel at home. I'm like confident and happy. It's like my happy place playing bass. And I just want to kind of get to a similar state with this stuff. I want to be able to feel confident, and I'm starting to realize what I need to do though is work out starting strategies, how to get to reliably good starting places. And then I love the great unknown. I love with this. I love how it takes me to musical places that I just that I just, you know, never been to before. I love that. I think it's really exciting because it's, you know, I do like groove boxes and infinity boxes, but I think what I'm looking for with those things, I always feel constrained by the way they work, and the idea of them is always more exciting than the reality of them. I typically find that the workflows I hit a barrier with the workflows. When we did the review of the Roland MC707, which is an excellent contender as an infinity box, brilliant groove box, but the lack of sample time, oh man, there's a wicked workflow that you've got with it, and it's like, oh yeah, and then you run out of sample time, and it's like, it's such a deal breaker. It's a massive deal breaker. It's such a deal breaker that I don't use it really as much as I thought I was going to use it, because that deal breaker just, well, that's what a deal breaker is, I guess. But it's just disappointing, and it's needless as well. Like, Roland could have, it's a sort of like an artificial kind of hobbling of what it could do. And I think it's because they don't want it to eat away the sales of their loopers. And yeah, it's it's a shame. It's a real shame. Okay, so we're putting in this. I'm going to put in this Cosmix then. Good name for a mixer, Cosmix. Obvious name, but good all the same. Making sure we've got red stripe down. Yes. Oh, welcome to your new home, Cosmix. I think you probably are going to be here to stay, because I reckon once I start using it in this context, there it is. I think it's going to be difficult to not use it then. To want to go back to, is the way I was doing it before. It was a bit bitty. So this should sort of rationalize the workflow. Yeah, shame I haven't got that other module though. That's it, so I could put the other effect unit in. I'll just have to leave a gap. Yeah. So the way I've been running it, and I'm going to change this now. I've got a little tiny submixer at the top left here, which deals with my 4 drum channels. Then that is going down into a mono send, which has been going into a buffered mult, and then I've been sending that drum mix to a few different places. So one of the places it was going to was the Wasp filter, which is then coming in into one of the channels of the Dopefer that I've just taken out. But I also had a separate version of the drum mix going into a channel of its own. And the reason I was doing that was because I was kind of aware that the Wasp filter is quite noisy. There's a kind of persistent sort of background noise with the Wasp filter that, yeah, I thought was going to bug me more than it actually turned out to bug me. But so what I'm going to do now is the drum mix. I'm going to simplify things, and the drum mix is going to come out of this little mixer. It's going to go into the Wasp filter and then into channel 1 of the Cosmix. so my drums, once they're muted, they're out. You know, they're gone. Because that's the thing. If you've got multiple mixes going on, you know, a lot of the time you want to be able to just be able to flick a single switch. Now, drums is still a little bit of a bone of contention for myself, really, because I didn't really want to go down a sort of drummy route, because drummy routes with modular tend to lead to techno. But then I've been realizing how much I love techno, and I've had a bit of a love-hate relationship with dance music over the years. You know, dance music I just felt was just too dominant, and I found a lot of people making very, very generic dance music. Just found it a bit dull, a bit uninteresting. Electronic music, however, find it really fascinating and interesting. But having to sort of make the music dance, to make it like dance music, I just wasn't really interested in that. I mean, I have made a lot of dance music in my life. In fact, I've been in a funk band, you know, and that's the whole raison d'etre was to make people dance. So I describe myself as a dancer. I am definitely a dancer. You know, I am a dancer. I dance when I walk. I dance down the street. You know, I am a dancer. There's no two ways about it. So, you know, dancing is an essential part of life. But making electronic dance music, I think what it is, especially computer, you know, things like Ableton Live and sample loops and just being able to drag beats on top. You know, you can make like generic dance music, like it's so easy. It's so easy. But I think, well, I don't think it's easy to make exquisite, excellent dance music. I think that is an amazing skill. But you know, just a sort of generic-y sort of dance music, it's just not that interested. So, you know, making beats, I didn't know if I wanted to do that particularly, but I have been drawn into it and I've been having a lot of fun. And when I fire this lot up in a moment, then I'll probably end up making some beats. Yeah. You know, I've been fortunate enough to work with Underworld, well, certainly with Carl Hyde, but also, you know, getting to understand a little bit about that magnificent band. Rick Smith from Underworld, you know, it's Rick and Carl. Rick is an absolute master. Both of them have got this incredible genius about the both of them, and they amazing together, but they're also fantastic whatever that they do individually. But I mean, I had to learn a lot of Underworld's material to be able to play it, and it was a real pleasure, actually. I just went through the whole back catalogue and familiarised myself with their entire catalogue. I knew a little bit of their stuff. Buku Fish, I thought it was an album I had. That was the only one I actually had before I got the job. And then I just started listening to like their whole catalogue, and wow. It's a masterclass, that is, in electronic music making. You know, is it dance music? Sort of. Some of it is, but then some of it isn't. Some of it's just beautiful music. Yeah, I think you see, I I tend to throw, and I've always been like this since I've been making music. I tend to try to make really busy music that lots of stuff happens, and um, like Underworld, they're fantastic at a measured. They introduce elements in a really wonderful way. They can ride on something for quite a long time. If it was me, I had to be putting things in and taking things out and changing it. And like Underworld are just, they're so classy how they hold back on stuff, and then they'll just build it over time, and then these incredible elements come in right towards the end of the track. I'd have probably put that element in myself, like in about 8 bars in. So yeah, but that's a great thing about music, isn't it? Though it's a constant. Like it's just like whenever I feel I've learned something or kind of got somewhere, it just opens up and think, oh my God, it's even bigger than I thought it was before. It's like the sort of better you get at it, or the more experience you have with it, the bigger it gets. Like when I was a teenager, I thought I was the bee's knees. I wasn't. I was kind of all right for my age, but I just. I'd learned to twiddle my fingers pretty fast. I was trying to be the fastest bass player in the West. And that's such a pointless pursuit. And like with guns, with the gunslingers, there's always going to be a faster gunslinger anyway. So it really is a sort of pointless pursuit. And and this was before I'd sort of discovered the pleasures of a certain herbal. Stimulant, shall we say, where really fast, loads of bibbly bass is not really what is wanted. Started listening. I remember getting a Dub Syndicate album and just like playing along with it, and like the bass lines were just generally made up of 2 or 3 notes, and it's like, yeah, not. Who wants to listen to yeah, bibble. Yeah, they call it Whitley guitar. I've always called it bibbly bass. Bibble master. The bibble masters. Yeah, I still like to bibble though. I do like to bibble. Bibbling is like my guilty pleasure, really. And if I'm playing and practicing up for a bit and I have a little bibble, I can bibble for hours on end. Reams and reams of useless bibble. Oh, yes, I can do that all right. Black Bombers, no. Yeah. Anyway, right, I'm going off topic. Oh, what a surprise. Yes, so, well, I managed to plug one in. Right, what else is... Right, okay, so I've got my new filter. I'm already seeing a problem. I think that the filter really should live next to the voice. So that means having to move 3 modules over 3 HP to get me that space there. And here is my other dilemma, ladies and gentlemen. This is the one. This is what's quite nice, sharing the dilemmas. This thing that was really affecting my ability to sleep last night was this. So I've got a Midiverse modular module here. It's actually upside down because it was just easier to get at the controls. Passive attenuator. And I was thinking of using this as the auxiliary send from the Cosmics coming into this, and then the 3 controls. One sending the auxiliary mix to the Milky Way, another one to the Pico DSP, and then the third one, the send to the Mutable Instruments beads. So I was like, and I still think that's likely to be what I'm going to do. So I might move that one up next to here, and then that will free up 6 HP here. So then 6 HP, I could move this voice, this 3 HP voice down into that slot there and put the filter next to it. And then that bottom row is done. So I think that's kind of a cool idea. However, what's kind of stopping me is that this is 6 HP. It's a passive, it's 3 attenuators, it's passive. And it takes up 6 HP. So what have we got left here? So let's assume I've done that. That comes down into here. That means I've got 3 HP there. So these will have to shift across. I think I just have to grin and bear it, move those across. So that gives me 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That gives me 11 HP then. And now in that 11 HP, if I put this attenuators in, obviously that's 6. So what did we say? 11. So wow, okay. So that just gives me 5 HP left. I've got my... Oh no, I think I've misjudged. That means I've got 1 HP unused. That can't be. I can't do that. My OCD regarding this live rig, it will not allow me to have 1 HP blank, although right, so this was my dilemma then. This is my dilemma. Instead of using this, which is, as I say, taking up 6 HP, and that's sending to 3 devices, instead this 2 HP crossfader instead would mean that I've got 4 HP spare. So, God, is this interesting? Oh my word. Honestly, this really has been plaguing me. What it means then is if I do this, then it means I don't have any send to the beads. But I've been wondering whether I should just take the master stereo out of the Cosmics into the beads, out of the beads and into the effect, out of the IntelliGel effect, out of the IntelliGel effect, into the endorphins, which is the golden master, which is here, and then out of that and then into my output module. Now that means that from leaving the mixer that we're going through 1, 2, 3, 4 other modules to degrade or, spoil the sound. What's the advantages of this? Well, I suppose because beads can process a stereo input, you can bypass. Beads could function as a delay, stereo delay and reverb, although I've got a stereo delay and reverb in this module as well. So I don't know if I'm just doubling up there. But it does mean then the beads is getting the master mix to do its funky thing on. See, in the other plan, which is using these three attenuators, then it means then I could choose whatever's going into the auxiliary bus. I could then think I only want it to process the drums whilst other sounds are not getting affected. I can have like the drums or the sampler or the sample playback rather, going through beads, which is fantastic, and nothing else going through beads. So in this plan, it means everything goes through beads. So this is my dilemma. So yeah. Right. I think my first decision that I am definitely going to do, though, is this. I'm going to take this out and make this 6 HP space. I'm going to fill it with my new filter and the voice, because that's a decision that's easy to do, and then I can make this other decision. I wonder if I should put it to the chat room for some advice. Really, I need a bigger case, says Tonal Axis. Well, yeah, I mean, it's, you know all about me sort of shoveling things around for 1 HP. This is nice. This thing, it's big though, isn't it? You know, it's 6 HP and it's just passive, but they're nice big quality pots that feel good to turn. So I'm not going to rule out that because being able to do 3 separate sends, I mean, it means I've only got one auxiliary send coming from the mixer into this, but then being able to choose which of the 3 effects or sending varying amounts in. Because I mean, this is the reality with my particular rig here. It is a bit like a big groove box, really. I know a lot of people who are into modular are into sort of, using the entire thing for, manipulating one thing through the whole system. And I've got multiple things going on. But that, in part, is how I've wanted to do this for a bunch of reasons. When I'm playing with Steve, I want to be able to I want to just work on just very small amounts. Just, one song, it might be this section, one song might be this section, one song might be this section, etc. Doing it that way. So that's kind of my thinking. And it's like bizarre because, this module that I'm taking out now, this Erica Synths Pico voice, honestly, it sounds brilliant. It's a brilliant module, and it does so much in 3 HP. I'm sort of seeing. Right, I've got to feed. I've got to make sure these. Oh no. It's like I've got one power point here, one cable already ready, but I think I'm gonna have to take things out to get power out. Oh, spoons. What I'll try and do tonight, what's the time? I'm gonna see what the time is. 9:10 in the UK. I want to give everybody some reward for sticking with me. So, right. I think I'm going to have to take out this one temporarily so I can sort out the power. Oh, this is the reality of modular, of just switching things in and out, and and moving everything for 1 HP. I've done that loads of times. I have spent a disproportionate amount of my life on switching modules around. Did I see Dominic Hawking in the chat room? Reward. Gaz gets to play the spoons. Oh yeah. Do you know, I knew a guy once who was unbelievably good at the spoons. Like, it's like you think, oh yeah, okay, the spoons. I know I can, you can get the gist of the spoons. But man, when you see someone who's like a genius spoon player, it's like, wow, don't underestimate the spoons. Yeah. Ah, Mr. Wiggly, hello. Harry Turner, he's taking bets on a small puff of white smoke and a dead module. Oh no. Don't wish that on me now, please. Yeah, Mr. Wiggly. Just oops. That wasn't good. I'm sure it's fine. This 4MS wavetable navigator is immense. Right. If it works still. Right, power. Yeah, Mr. Wiggly, you have to come up with an invention to make switching modules easier. Right, have I got... Yes! Hurrah! There is... Oh, I'm all happy now. There is a spare slot. There is a spare PowerPoint. Hooray. Oh! What am I thinking? This is 2 HP. Oh, I've been a fool. I was thinking my filter was... Of course it's 2 HP. It's made by 2 HP. I've just done something unnecessary. Oh no, it's cool. I'm going to put that 3 HP effect unit in there. So I'd have needed to have done that to have got the power, to have got the cable out. Just not for tonight. Yes, so like these modular grid, yeah. I did it in. Do you know the Midiverse modular and the Beat Boop modules are not on modular grid? That's a rubbish excuse. Mr. Wiggly, this is a fabulous stream. Could literally watch this forever. Wow. I do know you are being ironic, but you're here and we all love you. So it's a real pleasure to have you here. Thank you. Not sure there are any 1 HP modules apart from blanks. Yeah. No, I'm going to leave a blank I'm going to leave a blank space here for for this module that's going to come that I've ordered. So I'll leave that there. But I needed to get in there to get a power cable in there. So all is not lost. It's just a bit more boring for you guys, so I apologize. Right, what do I need? Yeah, so I am going to have to blooming take out these, I think, though. And we want to hear this filter. And it is analog. It is an analog filter and in 2 HP. And it described it as a buttery smooth analog filter. Now, I like the sound of buttery smooth analog filters, so just how buttery and smooth is it? That's what we need to know. Okay. So I am feeling a bit glum now because this was working so beautifully and my KB37 rig was working beautifully, both are now in bits and are not working. Okay, so I'm flapping. I need a power cable. One moment. Yeah. Has anyone made edible ones of these, I wonder? You know, like nice edible, you know, like novelty edible Eurorack cables. Quite nice, wouldn't it? You know, and they got like with a raspberry stripe. What's the taste of grey though? Just like bland nothing with a little raspberry stripe on the end. What am I talking about? Right. Well, we're getting this in. Inky, what she said, not being ironic, this is comedy. Just missed. Comedy Synthy Nerd Gold Dust. Oh, good. Do you think the sunglasses are helping? I just should take them off. I should do a reveal of my dodgy eye at the end. Stay tuned to see my dodgy eye. I don't know what's wrong with it. I've never done it before. It's just all gone red. And no, it's not red eye. Right. Power is in. Okay. I'm going to leave that hanging out like a thirsty dog's tongue. Right, what have I done with that? Okay, so the Pico voice is going in, and I'm leaving that space for that Pico DSP. 3 HP, but because I've got this ready, shame. Yeah, I wanted it to come today, but not to be. Okay, so what I was going to say, I think the requirements of live is so different from the studio. The old adage of like, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong is so true. It really is, you know. Like if I've gone out to do a gig, and I'm like, oh, you know, our bass strings are a bit old and could snap or whatever, it's going to happen. It's going to, you know, I think you can really, you know, you can really sort of fate things to happen. Okay, let's just get this one down here. But, you know, it's like thinking, oh, that's a bit wobbly. Is that going to fall off? Yes, it will fall off. So, you know, you just have to, you just have to overcompensate for things. You have to. It will go wrong. So, you know, I want to make sure that when I'm going to be sort of gigging, that I get it all, that everything is going to work. And the amount of variables and things that can go wrong is huge. So what I'm also thinking about is maybe writing down, making a little sort of checklist, and then, you know, making, you know, just going checking things off. Never seen a bass string snap? Oh God, yeah. No, they can. I tell you what. Yeah, no, they can go, and depending on like the sort of gauge and the type of strings that you use, if if you're going for more of a like high tension, and then they go. One time, a bass string snapped, and it lashed my face and cut me, and it was horrible. So yeah. I don't typically break them, and a lot of the time they'll break if you've got like if your bridge saddles aren't quite set correctly, or they shouldn't really break, but yeah, they do. And sometimes I play with a plectrum pick on some material. I tend to play about maybe 60% fingers, 40% with a plectrum. But like if you're really mashing it with a plectrum, then that can break them as well. And also, I sometimes do stupid things like trying to do massive bends, like really, like bending the note, like way, way, way too far, and then and that can be asking for trouble. But yeah. See, I'm like a rotor sound bass. That's my favourite. I've been using rotor sounds. God, I can't get this in. Ooh, misses. I've been using rotor sound bass strings like all my playing life, and they're great, but they don't stay fresh for long. Like lots of my favourite bass players would use rotor sounds. Chris Squire and Geddy Lee, Sting, and I think Lemmy, and oh God, loads of people used them. Billy Sheehan. I used to use the Billy Sheehan signature set. Billy Sheehan is a complete bibble maestro. But his bass strings is it's kind of got like a really heavy low. The strings are heavy, the lower ones are heavy, and then the higher ones are a little bit lighter. They're like a kind of custom gauge. I'm there. But yeah. But at the moment though, I'm going away from rotor sound, using Elixir strings. I have used them before. Yeah, a number of times. They're really expensive Elixir strings because they're special coated strings, but they do sound like they stay sounding fresh for quite a long time. Whereas rotor sound, like a lot of my favorite bass players, they would have a new set of strings every gig. Like Chris Squire, he's got an amazing bass tone, but JJ Burnell as well from the Stranglers. That sound, it's amazing, but it's good. You're good for one or two gigs with that sort of zingy sound, and especially if you've got toxic sweat like I think I have on my hands, kill strings way too quickly. So the Elixir strings are kind of coated, and if I can remember to do it, and I never remember, just to wipe the strings down after a gig is a really sensible idea. But I was saying about how things go wrong if, live, and will go wrong. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. Is so true. So, I've been playing professionally bass for years. I've done lots of, I've done a lot of kind of high profile sort of pro bass work in my life, and I've learnt a lot of stuff about how to, minimize problems. But it's just with modular, I think it's a totally different set of, it's just a different, it's so different. And, I'm kind of harumphing a little bit here because I just need to move all these three modules over by one. So let's get that filter plugged in. Oh no. 2 HP. It's too small. 2 HP is too small for my sausage fingers. Is there such a thing as a modular fishing rod? Come on. Yes. No. Yeah. No. Ow. Ow. Oh. 3 HP. This is my discovery tonight, is I can get my finger... No, well, no, I can't actually. I thought I could. No. I think I need 4 HP. I think my fingers are 4 HP. I need a cable pulling kit, says Jim Glue. Essential in the studio. Yeah. Oh, I tell you what are essential. I mean, this is the big bad Behringer, but in fact, I'm constantly tormented by this product, because I do want to like wholeheartedly recommend it, but it is a complete rip-off of a product by a company called Ebbtech, cable tester. And you get these for about 15 quid. And I think the Ebbtech one is about 80 or 90 quid or something like that. And, and it's, like a cable tester, this does a fine job, but it's exactly the same as this other company's probably main product, or one of their main products. It's just like really hard to recommend this, but then like 15 quid it's like I wish I'd have had this cable tester or something like this for years. It's an essential piece of kit, it really is. And and in fact, I did make a bit of a discovery. Won't do it now, but I'll do it on another stream. It's a really good way of ascertaining if your MIDI adapters for mini jack to MIDI are MIDI A or MIDI B. I've figured it out with this, and there's like a different pattern. So there's like a MIDI A and a MIDI B pattern. So stay tuned, folks, for an exciting, enthralling cable testing episode. But really, I mean, it's got a momentary, it's got an intermittent detector, and like that is worth its weight in gold. Although it probably doesn't weigh very much, so it might be worth more than its weight in gold. But yeah, because your lead, it appears to work. Give the lead a little jingle, and then the intermittent light comes up. That's that thing! Those cables which are pretending to work. And they have a little intermittent thing. This will detect that. And that's when that's... yeah. Yeah. But it is... oh, no, I'm back here again. Those cables, that kind of fool you. Right, I'm going in with a patch cable to try and fish. Anybody watching played the game Hades at all? I'd be interested to see if anyone has played Hades. Hades is a phenomenal game. Really, really great. Really brilliant game. I mention that because, there's a fishing element in it. That's the closest I've come to fishing. Nick Batt, keen fisherman. Never catches a fish, though. Oh, I think he might have, actually. I think he has caught a few now. But he was going for a fair while before he'd even caught a fish. So he was clearly going for other reasons. I can't do it! All right. Snouts. Right. Yes. We're there. Nearly. Yes. Okay. Phew. Right, don't fall back. Ooh. All right, two-handed mission. All right. Don't need that one. Red towards the thing. Yeah, red. Oh, it's clearly labeled on the red stripe there. Okay. Some of them don't label it, or it's really obscure to see which way the red stripe should go. I think the general rule is that red stripes, if it's going in horizontally, that it will be pointing down the red stripe, but not always. Myla did a video about oh man, I'm having the same problem I had with my other 2HP module, is that this board really comes apart. That bit comes apart from the front quite easily. That does not inspire confidence. I think once it's in, it's probably going to be okay, but don't like that. Okay. I guess we are dealing with 2HP. You're working with a really... Oh, it came right. That's come off. It's what happened with the other one. I vowed I wouldn't buy another one, and I bought another one. Oh, I got suckered by the buttery smooth, the promise of buttery smooth, low pass goodness. I'm not convinced now. Oh no, I have to take that. Yeah, so that bit there just comes off really, really easily. This, like, look at that. Can you see that? Oh God. Oh no, I've just noticed something as well. There's only 4 pins, not 8. Will it matter which, as long as the red stripe? I don't know which one's which now. I think, is there any LED lights on here? I don't think there is. Here's a flaw in the plan. Yeah, I'm really struggling to get that in because of all of the cables. It just feels like that panel is going to come off again. Oh, that is really awkward, that is. I don't know if I'm a fan of 2HP, I'm afraid. But maybe it's the format rather than the company. Yeah, look at that. I'm trying to get it in and it's come apart. You'd fix that board before taking it gigging, says Wagyu, and you're right. But I mean, that's just how they are. That's just how they are. I mean, I'm pretty sure once it's in, it'll be okay. I guess because it's relatively deep as a module, and then there's all of the kind of ribbon cables and whatnot that's going on beneath. So you're trying to push it in. Super glue, Dye Stanton suggested. Yeah, I guess so. Now, I killed a 2 HP module live on my show before. I don't want to do it again. Oh, I really find that does not inspire confidence. So it clearly is their manufacturing process that they are not fastening them in. Duh. I have to take out the synth voice to move it on. I have to take that out. So make life easy for ourselves and take it out now rather than having to squeeze. I could have done that all along. Oh, duh. Stupid. Right. Okay. Apologies, everybody, for this rather embarrassing display of incompetence. Yeah. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten. I'm going to blame that. I can feel my belly rumbling. You need food, don't you? Your brain is like really demanding for food. You know, just power, food, fuel. Yeah. Okay. I don't want to keep you guys for ages waiting for some like music. I've pulled out so many cables. I think what I'm probably going to do is once I've got this filter installed, I'm going to see, I think I'll have a little play with the Pico voice and the filter. I'll just route those in, and I think the amount of time it's going to take to wire all of this in is going to be probably by middle of next week. No, it's going to take hours. I thought I could get away with leaving these modules sort of patched in, but no, I think I have to do the whole wiring again. Yeah. Just unplugging the DivKid. Oh yeah, DivKid has a new module coming out. I think it's announced tomorrow, which now that is exciting. The modules that he's worked on have been fantastic. I haven't got the random step, but I would like to get one of them. And he's got his mutes module, which I sort of would like, but I think that the Cosmics will suffice in the muting department. But what will this new module be, and who is he going to be collaborating with this time? So that'll be quite interesting. You know, Ben Wilson, Mr. DivKid himself, is an absolute. He is such a diamond geezer, if ever there was. Fabulous man, ever so helpful, and he's just a lovely person, and somebody who was gently trying to persuade me to join him in Eurorack. No, he's been cool, but what will his new module be? I really don't know, and I'm fascinated because this one I've got, the Oct, it's just a brilliant idea. The underlying idea is so good. Okay. I'm in half a mind to leave things all spilling out a little bit. Just make sure that feels that. Okay, now I'm convinced that board is in and is not going to get knocked now. Let's see, can that fit in there? this dope for A116, A1116, which is this one, the miniature synth voice. Mylar did a video about this one recently. Is a really cool module. It's a complete analog synth voice in, what is that, 12 HP, 10 HP, not sure. It's a really cool module. I think if space is of the essence, which it is in everyone's racks, let's face it, but this one packs a lot into it. There's no LFOs on there though, sadly. That's the only bit really that's missing, but there's an envelope and sub-octave. Yeah, it's a pulse width modulation. It's a cool synth. I'm using it mostly for basses. But I have to say, like, when I was playing yesterday, the session I was doing yesterday, I'm getting there with certain bits, but bass, I'm struggling with bass. I'm just not getting good bass lines at the moment. That's the bit that's my weak spot. And I think why that is, in fact, I know why that is because I've got big demand of bass. I'm a bass man and I want my basses to be amazing. And I'm nowhere near that. My friend suggested, why don't you just play bass? Why don't you just play bass with your modular? And I was like, why don't I play bass? I'm probably not going to do that with Steve, just because we're on a specific kind of journey, I think, with the modular. But for solo performances, I think playing live bass might well be something that I might do. Tonal Axis, why don't you play live bass along? Yeah. Thank you. It is 10 HP, the Doper. Okay. Do you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to just fire it up. Let's just power things up. And then I'm going to see. All right. Let's just get some sound up, actually. And then I want to hear this filter. And I guess you guys, it's the least I could do. You have earned the right. Okay, so I'm going to just make let's just go back here. And I'm going to switch. I'm just going to patch directly to the output. I'm just going to do a real simple patch now. Okay, that's it. That's the Cosmics patch to the outputs. Now let's okay. Out and in. This cabling is we're just going rogue with the cabling for the moment. And then we'll come out. Now, just how buttery smooth is this going to be? I'm going to put it into channel 3 because that's the channel it's going to be in anyway. I'll put the mute in for now. Let's take the auxiliaries out. Well, I'm not sending it anyway yet. Anyway, it's not plugged in. Bypass the drive circuit. Okay, so we've got a really simple patch. All I need to do now is send from. I'll take it out from marbles. Let's do it from marbles. I'll send a signal out from marbles and then let's take it. I'll take the X1 into 1 volt per octave, and then final thing to do, a trigger. need a longer cable. This one will do. Ignore this sloppy patching for now. It's just for us to get some action. Trigger in, and I'll just put that one into there. So we'll get loads. We'll just get that triggering. Okay. Sound on mute. Get some signal up. Turn it up. We have sound. Okay. Okay, let's take it up. Sound. Filter. So it is an analog filter. Digital module into an analog filter. Let's take the resonance down. Let's do a sweep now. Let's get a bit more signal. Track 1 volt per octave as well. Now, is this buttery? Is it buttery smooth? Yeah. It's not bad. I'm liking it. I'm liking it for such a skinny module. Sounds quite fat. So what I'll do now then is, and I'll turn this down. So I'm going to go full res. Let's get it self-oscillating, and let's. I'm going to take that. Let's see what happens if I put that 1 volt per octave in to our frequency input. Take that input out. Okay, resonance up. So it will. Wicked. So it can function as an oscillator. Nice. So what I'm going to do now, that's cool. That works. Yeah. I'm liking the sound of it. It's not a hugely characterful filter, but it is a useful filter, and it sounds definitely smooth. Definitely smooth. Let's put that back in there. drive circuit off the Cosmics as well. Let's switch it in. So, whoa, sorry, bit of clipperoony there. Switch. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I think, is I'm going to plug in the oct, and I'm going to run an output of the oct into. Well, I'm going to take two outputs of the oct, I think, and we'll put it in to the filter. Now, the oct can't be clocked. The oct is an analog LFO with 8 different outputs, which are progressively slower from top down. And if we I need a couple of cables. I think. Yeah. So let's open that filter up. Take one from the middle. Set the oct at 12 o'clock. So this attenuator control, I think it's just attenuating. Let's try one into the resonance slow. So does that attenuator attenuate the resonance as well? It does, doesn't it? So it's attenuating both CV inputs. I think. Or easiest way to test is to take out the first one. No. Okay, yeah, so that attenuator is just attenuating the cutoff. That makes sense. Okay. I quite like this filter. I'm quite pleased with it. I've got to be honest. I'm quite pleased with it. It's not bad at all. It's doing what I wanted it to do anyway. It's quite nice the fact it's got that. Yeah, being able to mod the resonance is cool. And the 1 volt per octave tracking is also a cool thing. Slow. I'll tell you what I can do though. to do something for you guys because you've been so nice to me tonight. I'm going to switch over to the Wasp instead so we can hear it. We can hear the Wasp doing its thing. So switch that over. You can't modulate the resonance on the Wasp. Yes, it's a very different filter profile straight away. Resonance. Yeah, so different sounding. Definitely more character on the Wasp. But not so buttery smooth. What you can do with the Wasp then is I can crossfade it to a high pass filter. Just modulate. Very different sounding. Well, obviously it's high pass, but that resonance. Actually, and I can put another. It's got two CV inputs. Let's see what happens if we plug into the other one as well. Let's put faster. So both CV1 and CV2 both affect the cutoff. So just space them out a little bit more. Can't control the CV1 strength. With some of the parameters of this voice as well. I'll change the model now. Sound very different. Next. Very little modules then. These two modules, 5 HP between them. No, I apologise, I'm still plugged into the Wasp, aren't I? I'll switch it back actually, because I want to get to know this new module a little bit more. Out. So drop off levels. It's sounding a lot quieter, isn't it? really a lot quieter. Now there is a level control on the Wasp, so maybe that's adding extra. Let's just go back to the Wasp. Maybe a little bit. Okay, let's go back there. Yeah, it's a little bit quieter, isn't it? Let's get a bit more output gain, sorry. It's a bit louder. You've only got one CV input on the voice. Let's modulate it. It's got some sub in there, hasn't it? Cool. So I'm going to probably stop in a bit then because I don't want to go on too long and I've taken up way too much of your time. Thanks everyone so much for spending some time hanging out together. It's a real pleasure. Sorry about that. Put my teeth on edge then. Just gonna put some distortion on this now. That's quite cool, isn't it? Yeah, that's pretty cool. I apologise profusely. I think this is the Carplus Strong. Oh my god, sorry about that. Sorry, Mr. Wiggly. So I have to watch out for that one. Oh, these are chords, aren't they? Hang on, let's get some chord. Oh, look at that. Classic housey chords. Let's slow this down. Well, do you know what? I mean, I'm in a mess here. I've got a lot. I've pulled this all to bits. I've pulled out all my cables. I got a lot of patching to do. I don't think I can realistically do this. Take up any more of your time doing this. So I think I'm going to. Probably sign off now. Do you want to see? Do you want to see what's I'm gonna spare you the horrors lurking underneath the glasses. But thanks so everyone. I really appreciate you hanging out with me because it's such a boring thing. None of my friends would have ever considered doing such a noble thing. So thank you so much, everyone. So what I'll do then is I'll come, let me just check my diary. I'll see if I can, I'll try and come back on next week. And show you what I've, managed to, where I'm at with it. So, thanks so much, everyone. I really appreciate you hanging out with me because it's, yeah. Thanks so everyone. Have a good night. Where I'm at with it. yeah, it should be good for next week. It should be good for next week. And then it's going to be chaos for a couple of weeks. So there won't be any shows the following few weeks. So yeah. Well, thanks once more. It's oh, thank you. I really appreciate you saying sweet things. It's yeah, it's really nice. But yeah, I tell you what I am going to do though. I'm going to finish off doing this. Ready? I'm going to do it. Oh, I'm going to do it. There's no going back. I'm going to do it. I'm pulling them all out. You got to have them all pulled out. Right. Pull. Watch a man pull himself stupid. Pull himself out. I know, what am I saying? Out. It's almost like shearing a sheep. Well, not really. But yes, I'm doing it. Oh God, I'm going to regret this. Oh, I'm taking it back to the start. Yeah. Oh my God. Hours and hours of diligent patching. Okay. At least you get to see it. Oh, you get to see it. Not nude, but oh my God, all of these cables coming out of Pam's new workout. Okay. And it's done. It's unpatched. Right, actually, I realise there is something. It would be wrong of me just not to do this last bit now. So that 3 HP is waiting for that effects unit, and then this remaining space here. This is the thing. Okay, so this is the there's an annoying 2 HP there that I can't fill, because there's nothing that fits into that 2 HP 1U. But in this space here, the contenders are... Right. Let's find what's meant to be going there. Beep boop. Mult. So I've got like an active mult and a passive mult. Buff mult, as they like to call them. Buffered mult. And so then this last bit of space here, what we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 HP to go in there. Now, this one, which is the that attenuator, so attenuator rather, gives me 3, as I say, feed the auxiliary, send into that, and it passes it passes it to the outs, to the sort of plug into 1, and then I can take 3. So then I've got my 3 effect sends, but it leaves me with 1 HP empty. So I got this lovely AV1 from DPW. Same thing. Leaves me with 1. So so I've got Qubit 2 HP Mosaic. You can see the whole rack now. Like data of a 3-minute patch challenge. God, 3 minutes. Yeah. Okay. So I just don't know. And then, of course, I've got this is the one that I want to use. This is this other new module I got today, the Beat Boop, with this lovely long crossfader. But that doesn't give me enough space. You see, and this, ladies and gentlemen, this, I guess, is a good advert for the perils, shall we say, of modular. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's 5. So I've got 5 HP left. I did spy online Takarb. Have I got any Takarb in here? I'm not sure. But I did see that you can get a passive 3-channel attenuator in 2 HP. And I think they do a 3 HP version of it as well. But what I couldn't ascertain is I don't know that if it passes through. This is great because, as I say, you plug into one and then you can take whatever's inputted into one, you can take it out of all 3. Look at that. Okay, so I tell you what, I'm going to leave this as a cliffhanger. Like, if anyone saw the last episode, or anyone watch... Did you watch Severance? The last episode of Severance. Severance! I haven't watched fiction for 25 years, or not really. I've really not got into things, or very occasional things. During lockdown, I've started watching fiction. I've tried to avoid fiction just because I've just wanted to always have factual stuff. But I started getting into things over lockdown, but Severance is the best show I've seen, maybe one of the best shows I've ever seen. I think it's only streaming on Apple TV, I think. I'm not sure. Maybe there's other ways of seeing it. There's probably ways of seeing it, downloads maybe, but who knows. But that series was created or directed by Ben Stiller. I know he's the guy behind it, I think. But, Ben Stiller, you just would not think that he would be so artistically cool. Severance, if you haven't seen it, I cannot recommend it enough. And the last episode, woo! Oh my goodness. I think it is coming back for another series, but I almost would like it if it didn't. And if you've watched it, you might know what I mean there. But it's so good. I would happily watch more of it. So I don't know. It's amazing. Absolutely brilliant. You like the shades? Yeah, so I can't remember which eye it is now. Oh, I'll spare it you. You don't need to see a bloodshot eye. It's just, that's all it is, really. But yeah, so Severance, highly recommend. Also, computer game, Hades, highly recommend. And I've just started in my gaming world. Mr. Geert Bevan put a post up on Facebook about a certain game that was just too compelling a reason not to do it. I've just started playing Elden Ring, finding it very, very difficult, but also really, really good. So that's why that's a bit. Oh, and also TV wise, I'm really enjoying Slow Horses. I think the last episode of that's going to happen on Friday, so that's really good with Gary Oldman. What's the fact now? Gary Newman is 2 weeks older than Gary Oldman. 2 weeks old. Yeah, I think it's that way around, or a month old. Gary Newman, yeah, is 2 weeks older than Gary Oldman. I'll see what the eye. I mean, it's only just, I don't know what's gone wrong. It's working perfectly well. It's just all bloodshot, and it's just pure vanity. And actually, I love wearing shades, so it's an excuse. I see. Want to see the eye. Utopia, best thing on UK. I've heard about Utopia. I haven't seen it. That's meant to be brilliant, isn't it? And Jim Glue is enjoying Slow Horses. Yeah, yeah. Broken blood vessel. Ugh, yeah, maybe that's what it is. But yeah, there's no pain or there's nothing there. It's just bloodshot. Yeah. Anyway, enough about this. Just a nice little blah blah to finish off with. So what's the future? What's planned? I've got loads of stuff happening now. Gigs. I've got loads of gigs. I mean, I'm playing with so the Charlotte Church Pop Dungeon. We've got a bunch of really cool gigs. In fact, we're playing Ali Pali Festival, the Kaleidoscope Festival, with Orbital. So Paul Hartnell from Orbital, former guest on the Gaz Williams Show. It'd be nice to actually share a bill with him. I think that'll be the first time we've done that. Bunch of gigs, different ones, festivals with the Pop Dungeon. Going on tour with Martin Carr, Boo Radley's songwriter, with the Charlatans. That's the tour that was postponed due to COVID midway through last year. That's going to be picking that back up immediately after Superbooth. So flying back from Superbooth, going on to a tour bus and off on tour. Big venues, mostly in Scotland actually, for that tour. Playing with Steve Davis, of course, which, Modular, on the Modular Mission. Got a load of dates with the Rumbelows, a surf band I play in as well, various festival ones and parties and all sorts of stuff with that. Trying to weave my way through all of those different types of gigs, and then I'll see what I can do in terms of coming on and doing live streams as well. But I definitely want to do some live streams from Berlin, Superbooth, and other places. So keep click that stinking bell. I think I used to say. I should say it again. If you want to be, if you want to know when I'm online, I'll try and post on Twitter or Facebook or whatever to announce when I'm going to be streaming. But because of this kind of erratic touring, gigging kind of lifestyle that I've got, I'm not sure entirely when I'm going to be able to make it or not. But I've really enjoyed tonight, and your company has been exquisite. It's really made me very, very happy indeed. So thank you once more. And I'm going to go now because I'm really hungry and I've had way too much of your time already. Big love, everyone. Honestly, major big vibes out to you all. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.